Assalamu alaikum. My today's topic is anal canal. We will be talking about anal canal today. So, where is this anal canal situated? As you can see in the picture, this is the pelvic diaphragm. This is your pelvic diaphragm. These two levator ani muscle, they form your pelvic diaphragm. Your anal canal, this is your anal canal, it is present below the pelvic diaphragm. It is present, this is rectum and this is anal canal. Your anal canal is present below the levator ani, that is the pelvic diaphragm. It lies in the anal angle. It lies in the anal angle which is present between right ischioanal fossa. यहाँ से इसको होता है एक ischioanal fossa. फोसा होते हैं दो, यहाँ से एक फोसा होता है, यहाँ से दूसरा फोसा होता है, वो बीच में बनाते हैं एक ट्रायंगल, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द एनल ट्रायंगल. इट लाइज इन द एनल ट्रायंगल. It is the part of the large intestine just below the rectum. Your anal canal, it is present below the rectum and it is below your pelvic diaphragm. The pelvic diaphragm is being formed by the by the levator ani. It is present below the pelvic diaphragm and it is present in the anal triangle. It is present in the anal triangle which has on two sides the ischioanal fossa. दो fossa होते हैं anal triangle के sides पे. After that comes its length. It is 3.8 centimeters long. It is 3.8 centimeters long. Extension क्या होता है इसका? It extends from the anorectal junction. एनस और रेक्टम के बीच में जो जंक्शन होता है, एनोरेक्टल जंक्शन से एक्सटेंड करता है up to the external opening, that is the anus. Between the two buttocks you have an external opening, that is called as the anus. This external opening, this anus, it is present 4 centimeters below. ये 4 centimeters below और in front of the coccyx होता है, of the coccyx. ठीक है. Superiorly it has the anorectal junction and inferiorly it has an external opening that is called as the anus, and this anus, this is 4 centimeters below and in front of the tip of the coccyx. This anus, this opening is present between the two buttocks. It is present between the two buttocks and the area around this anus, it is thrown into folds. It is thrown into folds and this area is pigmented also. This area is pigmented also, having various apocrine glands. This area is pigmented, having various apocrine glands. After that, how we can make it whether this is junction, this is anorectal junction or no? You have a curvature here that is called as the perineal curvature. As we have talked about the curvatures of the rectum, here you have a curvature that is called as the perineal curvature. So that depicts the junction of the rectum with the anal canal. That depicts the junction of the rectum with the anal canal. Moreover, this anal canal, it is being surrounded by sphincters. This is the internal sphincter and this is the external sphincter. It is placed posteriorly and downwards and backwards. ये posteriorly down, its direction is downwards and backwards. Its direction is downwards and backwards. So it has the length of 3.8 centimeters, extends from the anorectal junction to the anus. Anus is an external opening present between the two buttocks and it is having the the skin around here is folded, thrown into folds, and it is pigmented, containing various apocrine glands, and the anal canal is directed downwards and backwards. It is directed downwards and backwards. After that comes your relations. As you can see, this is your anus. Fine. This is your anus. Anteriorly in the relations, in case of females, you have this perineal body, which we will be discussing in further classes. You have in both sexes you have this perineal body. दोनों sexes में anteriorly anal canal का relation होता है perineal body. In males you have the urethra. In males you have the urethra. Fine. And in females you have the lower end of the vagina. You have the lower end of the, अगर female होती है तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है, यहाँ पे ये होता है uterus, तो anteriorly यहाँ पे होता है vagina, यहाँ पे vagina होता है in case of females. In case of females you have urethra and you can have even the bulb of the penis. You can have the bulb of the penis that we will be discussing in further classes. What is the bulb? So the anterior relations in both the sexes, you have the perineal body, and in case of males you have the urethra, in case of females you have the vagina. Fine. Posteriorly you have this coccyx and the anococcygeal ligament. एनस और कॉक्सिक्स के बीच में लिगमेंट होता है, दैट इज द एनोकॉक्सिजियल लिगमेंट. एंड ऑन द साइड्स, दोनों साइड से, एज वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन द फर्स्ट डायग्राम, you have the ischianal foci. You have the ischianal foci. Let's go back to the first diagram. On both sides you have these foci. These are called as the ischianal foci, and this will be surrounded through and through by means of the internal anal sphincter and the external anal sphincter. Fine. Now the interior of the anal canal, it is divided into three parts. इसके तीन हिस्से होते हैं. You have this, first of all, this is your anorectal junction. This is your anorectal junction. This is the upper part of the anal canal. This is the middle part of the anal canal, and this small area is the lower part of the anal canal. Upper part, middle part, and the lower part. These three parts are separated by means of two lines. This is the pectinate line, and this is the white line of Hilton. This is the white line of Hilton. Pectinate line and the white line of Hilton. Talking about the first part, it is derived from the endoderm. This is derived from the endoderm. What इसमें क्या होता है? It is lined by mucus. It is 15 millimeter long. So first and second part both are 15 millimeter long. It is lined by mucus. ठीक है. Moreover, it contains 6 to 10 these vertical folds. दिख रहे हैं आपको folds? 6 to 10 vertical folds. These folds are called as the anal columns of Morgagni. These vertical folds, 6 to 10 folds, which are present in the upper 15 mm of anal canal, they are called as the anal columns of Morgagni. They are called as the anal columns of Morgagni. These columns, as you can see inferiorly, they are united by short transverse folds. देख रहे? ये है columns. ये इनको unite कर रहे हैं short transverse folds. These short transverse folds, when they unite, they form your pectinate line. They form your pectinate line. When these short transverse folds, they unite, they form your pectinate line. These folds are called as the anal valves. These folds are called as the anal valves. अब अगर आप देखोगे, above each valve, you have a depression here. That is called as the anal sinus. Above each valve, you have a depression. That is called as the anal sinus. So what have we come across in the upper part of the anus? In the upper part of the anus, we have the 15 mm of, it comprises your upper part of the anus. This is the upper part of your anus. In this upper part, you have the longitudinal columns. They are the columns of Morgagni, joined by the transverse these bars, which form the pectinate line. And this pectinate line separates the upper part from the middle part. Now talking about the middle part. In the middle part, you can see this middle part has no columns or so. It has lined by the mucous membrane. इसमें भी mucous membrane होता है. ये भी 15 centimeter होता है. Fine. And this contains a dense venous plexus beneath the mucosa. It contains a dense venous plexus beneath the mucosa. And this part is called as the pectin. This middle part is called as the pectin. इसको हम बोलते हैं pectin. This middle part is separated from the lowermost part by a means of a line that is called as the white line of Hilton. It is separated, this is the lowermost part. It is separated from the lowermost part by means of this line that is called as the white line of Hilton. Fine. And here you can see at this place, that is at the white line, the internal sphincter ends and the subcutaneous part of the external sphincter starts. This area is lined with thin glossy pale epithelium, which is devoid of sweat glands. After that comes your lower cutaneous part. This part is cutaneous. This was mucus, and this is cutaneous. This second part and the third part, they are derived from the ectoderm. First part is derived from the endoderm. This lower cutaneous part, this is lined by true skin. यहाँ पे skin होती है, and that skin will be containing क्या क्या उसमें होगा? You will be having the sebaceous glands. You will having everything what the skin contains, and the epithelium here will be stratified squamous. The epithelium skin का में क्या होता है epithelium? Stratified squamous epithelium, and this area will be pigmented as I have told you. And here you will be having the sebaceous glands, sweat glands, hair. Fine. So the interior of the anal canal, in another pic it's more clear. The interior of the anal canal, it is divided into upper 15 mm, second 15 mm, and 8 mm the lowermost part. First part is the 15 mm endodermal in origin, having the anal columns. It is lined by mucosa, having the anal columns and the anal valves which join to form the pectinate line, these anal valves, and they lodge a space. This space is called as the anal sinus. After that comes another part that is again 15 mm. It is ectodermal in origin, and this part is called as the pectin. It is separated from the lower part by the white line of Hilton. This part has again the mucosa. Beneath it, it has the deep venous plexus, imparting the bluish color to it. Then the lowest part, it is 8 mm. It is just skin lined by true skin, having the sebaceous, hair, and sweat glands in it. And this part finally opens on the surface and ends up in the anal orifice. After that comes your musculature of the anal canal. For the musculature, you have two sphincters. This is your internal anal sphincter. This is your external anal sphincter. This is the internal anal sphincter, ye wala. This is your external anal sphincter. Why is it external into parts? Since it has parts. It has the deep part, it has the superficial part, and it has the subcutaneous part. It has the deep part, it has the superficial part, and the subcutaneous part. Talking about your internal anal sphincter, this internal anal sphincter, it is involuntary in action. This is involuntary in action and is formed by the smooth muscles. It is formed by the smooth muscles. Moreover, this ends up to the white line of Hilton. That means upper 30 mm के साथ ही चलता है this internal anal sphincter. Then comes your external anal sphincter. It has three parts: deep, superficial, and subcutaneous. It is voluntary in action. ये voluntary होता है, and it is formed by the striated muscles, which is supplied by the inferior rectal nerve. It is supplied by the inferior rectal nerve. अब जो upper वाले part होते हैं, deep के part होते हैं, they blend with the fibers of the puborectalis. यहाँ पे एक मसल होती है, उसका नाम होता है प्यूबोरेक्टालिस. ये है प्यूबोरेक्टालिस, ये है प्यूबोरेक्टालिस. ये जो अपर वाला होता है ना फाइबर एक्सटर्नल एनल स्फिंक्टर का, डीप fibers, they blend with the puborectalis. हो गया एक. What about the middle fibers? They surround the internal anal sphincter. Middle fibers will surround the internal anal sphincters. What about the lowermost fibers? They will be present below the level of the internal anal sphincter. That means internal anal sphincter 30 mm पे end हो गया, but this subcutaneous part is beneath it. That means it is below this. So as to summarize here, we will see this is the internal anal sphincter. It is present up to the white line of Hilton. That means 30 mm तक ये नीचे जाता है anal canal को साथ. After that comes your external anal sphincter, which has the deep, superficial, and subcutaneous part, which is voluntary in action, but the internal is involuntary action. Then deep part is blends with the puborectalis muscle. Superficial part is present along the internal anal sphincter, and the subcutaneous part lies below the internal anal sphincter. Then you have a thing here that is called as the conjoint longitudinal cord. ये conjoint longitudinal cord क्या होता है? See, you have this is the longitudinal muscle of the rectum. ये rectum का muscle, ये आपका anal canal है. This is the longitudinal muscle cord of the rectum. This is the longitudinal muscle cord of the rectum. And यहाँ से इसको आएगा क्या दूसरा muscle that is called as the puborectalis. Longitudinal muscle cord of rectum and the puborectalis muscle, they join to form the conjoint longitudinal cord. They join to form the conjoint longitudinal cord. ये कहाँ पे होते हैं? They are present between the internal sphincter and the external sphincter. They lie between the conjoint longitudinal cord, they lie between the external and the internal sphincter. अब when we trace this conjoint longitudinal cord downwards, इसको क्या हो जाता है? It gives fibrous septa. It gives fibrous septa which are attached to the skin around the anus. These fibrous septa, they are attached to the skin around the anus. What is the thing what we were discussing about? That is the conjoint longitudinal cord formed by the longitudinal muscular cord of the rectum and the puborectalis muscle. They two join to form the conjoint longitudinal cord. They are present between the internal anal sphincter and the external anal sphincter. After that, this muscle goes downwards and gives fibrous septa which end up in the skin around the anus. उसके बाद आता है आपका, you have one more thing here, that is the anorectal ring. What is this anorectal ring? This is the anorectal ring. This is the junction between the rectum and the anus. How is it formed? It is formed by the ये union of क्या क्या, यहाँ पे ये muscle है puborectalis, ठीक है. प्यूबोरेक्टालिस ज्वाइन करेगा किसके साथ? इंटरनल एनल स्फिंक्टर के साथ और एक्सटर्नल एनल स्फिंक्टर के साथ. प्यूबोरेक्टालिस ज्वाइन करेगा इंटरनल एंड एक्सटर्नल एनल स्फिंक्टर को एंड दे विल फॉर्म द एनोरेक्टल रिंग. एनी इंजुरी और एनी इंसल्ट टू दिस रिंग कैन लीड टू incontinence, rectal incontinence. Fine. Moreover, this ring is not well marked anteriorly, since the anteriorly the puborectalis fibers are absent. ठीक है, एंटीरियर ये उतना वेल मार्क नहीं होता है. किससे बनता है? ये बनता है एक्सटर्नल एनल स्फिंक्टर, इंटरनल एनल स्फिंक्टर और प्यूबोरेक्टालिस ब्लेंड होके बनाते हैं आपका एनोरेक्टल रिंग और एनोरेक्टल जंक्शन. देन आफ्टर दैट वी हैव सर्टेन सर्जिकल स्पेसेस. एनस में कुछ सर्जिकल स्पेसेस होती है. सर्जिकल स्पेसेस क्यों? क्योंकि एनस इट इज़ नोन फॉर वेरियस डिजीजेस, since it is the terminal most part of your intestine, so you have lot of diseases in this part. These surgical spaces are important since there can occur the pus collection because of the ischioanal abscess. You can have a pus collection in the various spaces here. Let's know what these spaces are. You have the ischioanal space. पहले मैंने आपको बोला anal canal के side में on both sides you have two spaces. These are called as the ischioanal spaces. Ischioanal spaces. These two spaces we will be discussing in detail in the future classes. Then you have the perianal space. Perianal space क्या हो गया? जो anus को surround करेगा. ये you have this perianal space. ये perianal space. Since this perianal space is down, it is just below your white line. ये white line के नीचे होती है ये perianal space. ये white line के नीचे होती है perianal space. So there is a chance that infection will spread to the surface of the perineal canal rather than going upwards. Perineal skin को करेगा infect, ऊपर नहीं जाएगा. Since this perineal space is downwards, that is why infection will go towards the skin rather than going to the ischioanal space or any other deep space. Then comes your submucous space. Submucous space जो होता है, it is present between the mucous membrane and the internal sphincter. यहाँ पे आपका होगा internal sphincter और म्यूकस मेम्ब्रेन के बीच में होता है. यहाँ पे इंटरनल स्फिंक्टर ये है और ये है म्यूकस मेम्ब्रेन. इन दोनों के बीच में जो ये स्पेस है ये हो गई सब म्यूकस स्पेस. यहाँ पे वेनस प्लेक्सस होते हैं और लिम्फेटिक्स होते हैं. अगेन मोर प्रोन टू गेट इन्फेक्टेड. फाइन. यू हैव द इश्चुएनल स्पेस, यू हैव द पेरिएनल स्पेस विच इज प्रेजेंट बिलो द वाइट line, so more chances of infection to the skin. Then you have the submucous space which is present between the internal anal sphincter and the mucosa here. यहाँ पे भी इन्फेक्शन हो सकता है. आर्टीरियल सप्लाई. फॉर द आर्टीरियल सप्लाई वी विल डिवाइड इट इनटू पार्ट्स. एक हो गया पेक्टिनेट लाइन, हमने देखी ना, जो अपर 15 को नीचे वाले बाकी से सेपरेट करती है. अपर द एरिया अबाउ द पेक्टिनेट लाइन इज सेपरेटेड सप्लाइड बाय द सुपीरियर रेक्टल आर्टरी. दिस इज योर सुपीरियर रेक्टल आर्टरी, branch of the inferior mesenteric artery, which is in turn the branch of the abdominal aorta. This is your superior rectal. ये करेगी up to the upper part, up to the pectinate line, above the pectinate line. Then the part below the pectinate line, it is supplied by the inferior rectal artery. The part below the pectinate line will be supplied by the inferior rectal artery. Then for the venous drainage you have two plexuses. यहाँ पे मैं आपको दिखाऊंगी. ये है आपका internal venous plexus. Internal venous plexus ये होता है submucosa, anal canal के submucosa में. ये drain कहाँ करेगा? ये internal rectal venous plexus ये जाएगा सीधे जी आपकी कहाँ गई? rectal vein, superior rectal vein. It will drain into the superior rectal vein. This internal venous plexus, it will drain into the superior rectal vein. And moreover it has communications with the middle rectal and the inferior rectal also. Then comes your ये जो veins होती है ना, ये internal plexus, it is in the form of pouches. ये पाउचेस की शेप में होता है. इन ये रेक्टल वेनस प्लेक्सस ऊपर जाके 3 वेन्स बनाता है, वो आगे जाके आपकी सुपीरियर रेक्टल वेन बनाती है. सो वेन्स प्रेजेंट इन एनल कॉलम्स आर सिचुएटेड एट 3, 7 एंड 11 पोजिशन. जो यहाँ पे ये वेन्स प्लेक्सस है ना, ये जो वेन्स 3 बनाता है वो होती है 3, 7 एंड 11 o'clock पोजिशन पे. अगर हम देखेंगे लिथोटमी पोजिशन, लिथोटमी पोजिशन इज द पोजिशन व्हेन यू मेक द पेशेंट टू लाई डाउन इन द सुपाइन पोजिशन एंड उसको क्या करेंगे हम, जैसे आप डिलीवरी देते हैं ना फीमेल, वो पोजिशन उसको आप लिथोटमी पोजिशन बोलते हो. तो उसमें क्या हम देखते हैं, उसमें हम ये देखेंगे वेन्स होती है प्रेजेंट 3, 7 एंड 11 o'clock पोजिशन पे. एंड दीज वेन जो यहाँ से इंटरनल रेक्टल प्लेक्सस ये वेन्स 3 बनाता है ना आगे जाके, दे आर द पोटेंशियल साइट्स फॉर द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ पाइल्स. इन्हीं वेन्स की ये होती है डायलिटेशन होती है या कुछ होता है तो वही पाइल्स बनाती है 3, 7 और 11 पोजिशन पे. और दीज पाइल्स आर कॉल्ड एज द प्राइमरी पाइल्स 3, 7, 11 पोजिशन. Then after that comes your external venous plexus. यहाँ पे एक और plexus होता है external rectal venous plexus. This was the internal rectal venous plexus. This is the external rectal venous plexus. ठीक है, ये जो external rectal venous plexus होता है ना, ये communicate करता है internal rectal venous plexus के साथ. ठीक है, lower part is drained into the inferior rectal. Then this middle part is drained into the middle rectal and the superior part is drained into the superior rectal vein. So for the venous plexus you have the internal rectal plexus and you have the external rectal plexus. The internal rectal plexus forms 3 veins which in future forms the superior rectal vein. These 3 veins are placed at the 3, 7 and 11 o'clock position, which is the potent site for the hemorrhoids or piles. Then you have the external venous plexus that drains inferiorly into the inferior rectal vein, middle part drains into the middle rectal vein and the superior part drains into the superior rectal vein. Fine, हो गया ये आपका, it was your blood supply, arterial supply भी हो गया and your venous drainage is also done. After that comes your lymphatic drainage. The part above the pectinate line drains into the internal iliac nodes and the part below the pectinate line drains into the superficial inguinal lymph nodes. About the nerve supply now. Nerve supply में you have the again part above the pectinate line. It is supplied by sympathetic as well as parasympathetic. Sympathetic में क्या क्या आएगा? You have L1 and L2. सिंपैथेटिक में आएगा यहाँ पे L1 एंड L2. फाइन. एंड पैरासिम्पैथेटिक में आपका आएगा ये S2, S3 एंड L4. ये S2, S3 एंड L4 pelvic splanchnic. ठीक है, sorry, S2, S3 and S4 and not L4. This is pelvic splanchnic. They will come into the parasympathetic part. This pelvic splanchnic nerve, they will come in the parasympathetic part and the sympathetic will be formed by the L1 and L2. The sympathetic will be formed by the L1 and L2. Below the pectinate, this was above the pectinate line, sympathetic by L1, L2 and parasympathetic by pelvic splanchnic nerve, that is S2, S3 and S4. Below the pectinate line, what you will be having? You will be having the inferior rectal nerves, that is S2, S3 and S4. You will be having the inferior rectal here, that is S2, S3 and S4, that is below the pelvic this pectinate line. Above the pectinate line, both parasympathetic and sympathetic. Sympathetic from L1, L2, parasympathetic from pelvic splanchnic nerve, and below the pectinate line, it is supplied by the somatic S2, S3 and S4 nerves. Then the sphincters. Sphincter contracts by sympathetic nerves and is relaxed by the parasympathetic nerve. Then a part about just few words about the applied anatomy. What you can have this in this anal area? You can have the internal hemorrhoid and you can have the external hemorrhoid. Now what is this hemorrhoid? This hemorrhoid is also called as the pile. ये क्या होती है? डायलेट हो जाती है. जो रेक्टल वेनस प्लेक्सस जो हम बात कर रहे थे ना, वेन्स जो बनती है, देयर आर ऑकर्स सेक्युलर डायलिटेशन इन दोज प्लेक्सस एंड दीज जो अगर अबव पेक्टिनेट लाइन ये डायलिटेशंस होगी, ठीक है, अबव पेक्टिनेट लाइन वो होती है पेनलेस. पेक्टिनेट लाइन के ऊपर ऊपर जो भी ये बनेंगे ना हेमोरॉइड्स, वो पेनलेस होते हैं, एंड दीज आर प्रेजेंट एट 3, 7 and 11 o'clock पोजिशन एंड दे आर कॉल्ड एज अ प्राइमरी पाइल्स। मैंने आपको ऐसे पहले भी बोला, जो 3, 7, 11 o'clock पोजिशन पे होगा एनल वॉल पे, वो प्राइमरी होते हैं, ठीक है। दे आर फॉर्म बाय द जो 3 रेडिकल्स होते हैं ना सुपीरियर रेक्टल वेन के, उसी से ये 3 बनती है, ठीक है, 3, 7 और 11। विच ये कहाँ कहाँ किस पोजीशन पे अगर अब मैं बतानी होगी पोजीशन, लेफ्ट लेटरल, राइट पोस्टीरियर एंड राइट एंटीरियर, लेफ्ट लेटरल, राइट एंटीरियर एंड राइट पोस्टीरियर, फाइन। अब अगर दूसरी जगहों पे होगी 3, 7 और 11 को छोड़ के कहीं और होगी, दे आर कॉल्ड एज द सेकेंडरी पाइल्स। अभी पाइल होता क्या है, दिस इज साइक्युलर डायलेटेशन ऑफ द इंटरनल रेक्टल वेनस प्लेक्सस। Why does these piles occur? वजह क्या होती है इन पाइल्स की? Either the patient has poor support of to veins, veins को पूरी तरह सपोर्ट नहीं होता है, valves कभी एबसेंट होते हैं veins में, veins कंप्रेस होती है कभी कभी मसल कोड से, या पोर्टल प्रेशर इंक्रीज होता है जिसकी वजह से veins पे प्रेशर पड़ता है। So you can have various reasons: poor support of the veins, absence of the valves, compression of the valves by the muscular cords, and you can have the portal pressure which can increase the pressure in this valve. This is the internal hemorrhoid which is painless, and this is the external hemorrhoid which is painful. ये painful क्यों होता है? क्योंकि ये होता है ना, स्किन यहाँ पे होता है, यहाँ पे स्किन के साथ अटैच्ड होता है, तो नर्व्स का इनोवेशन ज़्यादा होता है, तो external pile will be more painful as compared to the internal pile. After that comes your, you have one more this external pile जो होता है ना, ये bleed नहीं करता है on straining. Internal pile can bleed on straining, fine. After that comes your fissure in ano. Fissure in ano क्या होता है? This is your anal orifice, anus जिसको आप बोलोगे, external opening. यहाँ पे ये जख्म जैसा आपको दिख रहा है, this tear, can you see this injury here? यहाँ पे इस डायग्राम में ये है एनल फिशर. इट इज़ द इंजुरी, इट इज़ द रप्चर ऑफ वन ऑफ द एनल वैल्व्स. जो हमने वैल्व्स पढ़े थे उनमें से एक फट जाता है, उसका रप्चर हो जाता है. ये रप्चर कैसे हो जाता है? जब भी पेशेंट हार्ट स्टूल पास करता है या कॉन्स्टिपेटेड पेशेंट होता है, ये रप्चर हो जाता है और इसकी वजह से क्या होता है, ये यहाँ पे एक वेल्व फट जाता है. दिस स्टेट इज एक्सट्रीमली पेनफुल बिकॉज देयर आर इट इज़ मार्क्ड बाय स्पाज्म्स. यहाँ बहुत ज़्यादा स्पाज्म होते हैं एंड इट इज़ एक्सट्रीमली पेनफुल. आफ्टर दैट कम्स फिस्चूला. फिस्चूला इन एनो के बाद आपका आता है फिस्चूला. इट वॉज फिशर, पहला वाला फिशर था, दिस इज फिस्चूला. नाउ व्हाट इज दिस फिस्चूला? फिशर तो हमने बोला, फिशर इज अ ट्रामा टू द वाल्व. दिस इज फिस्चूला. कैन यू सी दिस ट्रैक्ट? ये ट्रैक्ट कैसे बना है? यहाँ पे इसको डाई डाला होगा. दिस डाई इज कॉल्ड एज द डाई पुटिंग प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड एज द फिस्चूलोग्राम. फिस्चूलोग्राम. यहाँ पे क्या होता है, देखो जी, पेशेंट कम्स टू यू विथ एब्सेस इन दिस एरिया. मैंने आपको वो एब्सेस बताया. दैट एब्सेस कैन बी प्रेजेंट इन द इश्चुएनल स्पेस, दैट कैन बी प्रेजेंट इन द पेरिएनल स्पेस, दैट कैन बी प्रेजेंट इन द म्यूकोजल स्पेस. वेयर एवर दैट एब्सेस इज प्रेजेंट. वो एब्सेस होता कैसे है? कॉन्स्टिपेटेड पेशेंट कम्स टू यू, doctor sahab, I have constipation and all that. Then he develops piles. When he develops piles, sometimes the valves get infected there and that infection causes pus. That pus is present in these spaces. अब जब इन spaces में pus हो जाएगा तो what will patient do? He will go to the doctor. The doctor will operate upon the patient. Sometimes the pus pockets remain hidden. Those pus pockets, they after the surgery is over, the patient recovers, those pus pockets start oozing little pus and they form a tract. Like ये यहाँ पे pus अगर जमा रहेगा ना, यहाँ पे एक tract बन जाता है. That pus will come out on the surface. And that will be a continuous process. This tract is called as the fistula. That is the tract between the exterior and the interior. This tract is called as the fistula. Then various surgeries are done on this, that they are for the removal of the fistula. That is called as the fistulectomy. Unfortunately, this surgery is not much of use to the patient since there are a lot of failures here. Then you can have various other things in the form of anal stenosis. You can have anal agenesis. Then you have the anorectal malformations and many other things. I think you all must go through this today only, such that I'll be able to conduct your exams in the next week. Thank you.